All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. This is a watch that a lot of people grabbed this watch this year because it was the new version of in their lineup, and obviously I jumped on it. It's an amazing watch. So I want to cover a few things in this video that I've been monitoring in the last 2 weeks of having it. I've had it for 2 weeks now, or a little over 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but I want to talk about first the hardware. Now, I don't have a case on this particular watch like I did for my Watch 4. Where's my Watch 4 at? Somewhere around here. Yeah, here it is. I put a case on this one because it kept getting banged up, hey, it's holding its own pretty well. But this watch right here, I've actually hit my wrist up against like doors and just getting out of the car, just whatever. And it is not a mark on it. Now, I'm sure it's going to get scratched up at some point or another. But it is actually doing phenomenal, as far as the hardware goes. It is a bigger, thicker watch compared to the Watch 4. It's a lot thicker. And I think you're going to probably enjoy the sleekness of the Watch 4, but the weight and how much more premium this watch feels. I guess I shouldn't say premium, because this is titanium around here in this body, but it just feels like it's obviously more sturdy, more strong. It feels like I can drop this on whatever and the screen won't crack because the screen is recessed, and it's got these big borders around it, so that just makes it even better. So one thing I've learned that I don't really use a lot on this watch that I used on the Watch 4 is touching the touch sensitive area around the top. I used it a little bit more on the Watch 4, but the Watch 5 Pro, I found myself just going into the menu and just getting what I need and calling it a day. But other than that, as far as the physical hardware goes, I like not having that ring around it that you turn nowadays, 'cause I still have my classic, and I didn't really use it much, so it became more of a distraction if anything. But the hardware on this thing is premium. Now, how do I feel about this band? Remember how I felt about the band initially? I told you I was going to give it a chance and I was going to give it some time, and I have, and I like it. I think the band is the reason I like this band is because it's so easy and quick to get on and off, man. I mean, it literally is just, it's a good concept. While I don't really, and I've used bands like this obviously on regular stuff, like a regular watch. It didn't have a magnetic clasp, it had like a regular clasp, but this is a design that they're getting it from. So once you adjust it to your particular size, you're fine, man. You don't have to do anything else. You just take it on and off at will, and it snaps on very easy. And it does not come off. Like it once that magnet hits and it's on your wrist, it just I've never had any problems with it coming off. So I'm pretty happy about that. The heart rate monitor and all the fitness and everything. Let's talk about the software now. Now, I've only seen one other person comment on not having their workout start instantly. Some people are saying, oh, it starts after 10 minutes. Well, of course, I know that. I've got other Samsung watches. I got a ton of them. So this one doesn't start at all. I have to physically go in and start the workout. And you click on these, you click on one, those are the top three right there. But if you click on one of these, it's going to go ahead and start the workout. It's going to go ahead and start the workout. And there's a lot in here, and you can add more or whatever. But yeah, the workout thing, I don't know why it doesn't start right away, but it just doesn't. So I've got the settings right. I've got auto detect right on. I mean, I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and it just doesn't start. Unlike my Watch 4, this thing kicks in really quickly, and it knows what's up. I don't have to do anything. If I'm going on a bike ride, or I'm doing aerobics, or doing walking, I'm doing anything, and my heart rate is elevated, that Watch 4 kicks in, and it just does its thing. Because fitness is important to me, and this watch just still doesn't do it. I have to manually start it. So now I've gotten used to just starting it. I don't want to do a factory reset and do all that stuff. I just want to get going with it and just work out like I normally would. But other than the fitness tracking and the workout tracking auto detect, I've had no other problems with this watch, none whatsoever. It's a great watch. I like that the software is nice and smooth, no problems with it whatsoever. It's a Samsung, so they've integrated Wear OS, and so that's cool. But that's not really something that I'm deep into, like doing a lot of the Google service voice commands and stuff like that. I don't like touch sensitive earbuds, and I don't really use voice commands that much on things like this. I do it around the house if I'm telling Google to start something. But other than that, I don't really use a lot of voice services anymore. Maybe in my car or whatever. Ooh, there's a software update. Oh, see what's going on here. Okay. All right. So so it's a software update. Let's see what this is. Auto install. Okay. Word. Okay, that's good. So it's a software update waiting for me. And I was just saying how much I like the software. So that's a huge plus. And also my S22 Ultra got updated last night. We're at the beginning of September, and I'm just not getting the August patch. But nonetheless, I don't really care about software patches that much. I just like to promote them online to keep people aware. But as long as the device is working, I'm totally fine with it. I don't care. I think it's nice. But software-wise, I'm loving it. Everything looks good. I'm using a real basic wallpaper or watch face. But you can change these to different watch faces, and you can add more on. You know, you can do it however you want to do it. There's a lot of watch faces to add from. I've got a lot on here from a long time ago that I've used. But I just think that they've done a good job with this watch, and I like how nice the tracking is for when I'm actually doing a workout, though. I do like that. So the software is really nice. Let's switch it up and let's do something different here. Let's see. Let's go to this joint right here. I never really change watch faces from the watch very often, but you know, here's one. You know, I like it. I love having something to do with fitness right in my face, my heart rate regularly, things like that. But yeah, man. So the last thing I want to talk about is the battery. We've covered the hardware, we've covered the band, we've covered the software. The battery life is important to a lot of people, and for me, I'm easily getting 2.5 to 3 days out of this watch with no fail. I mean, it literally gives me, as long as I'm not running always on display. And that's unfortunate. As you saw when I went into settings, you know, I just can't get it cuts in half basically. You know what I'm saying? So I got auto brightness on, but always on display is off, because that really kills my battery fast. I mean, hands down, that is my battery drainer. And I also had the animated watch face on, and it still didn't kill my battery. However, having always on display on, it really messes it up. Unlike the Amazfit lineup, I keep always on display on, and I have no problems with battery. These watches will give you a minimum of a week, probably, depends on what you're doing. And they now have animated watch faces as well. I'll be following up with this review on this watch too for you. But I've been wearing both of these watches. Now I did a thing where I worked out. I work out every day, but I wore a watch on each arm. That's why you saw me wearing the watches. You probably saw some videos. You saw me wearing 2 watches, and it was ultimately just me I use more than one phone, and so I've been wearing my Samsung with my Samsung, and I've been using the Amazfit with my iPhone 13 Pro Max. So, or the Z Flip. I've just been using a whole bunch of different things, but right now I'm using the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the S22 Ultra. And I've always had this watch paired to the Ultra. So if you saw me wearing 2 watches, that's why. But even with all the things I've done with the battery life and the animated watch faces, it didn't affect the battery at all. I still got 2.5 days minimum. But then when I turned on always on display, the battery life died down to under 2 days. And, you know, I think for such an expensive watch, now obviously this isn't as expensive as other watches. This watch gets a way better battery, and it costs almost half. It costs about half, just about. So you consider what Samsung is doing here. And this watch is also a little bit better for fitness too. But, you know, when I compared both at the same time for fitness, they were actually kind of spot on. The Samsung was a couple of ticks behind, but it actually did pretty good when I worked out with both of these on. So I'm pretty happy about that, because this has been a great fitness watch for me. Most of the Amazfit lineup has always been great for fitness, but in the end, this watch is actually fantastic. I've been wearing it every day. The sleep tracking is something that I also do. But I was uncomfortable sleeping with both watches on, so I just, you know, kept my Amazfit on for sleep tracking, and we'll get to all of that again in another video for the Amazfit. But the sleep tracking on here is freaking crazy. It's right on point. No problems with it. I just haven't had any problems with this watch, and I actually like this watch a lot. And I highly recommend, if you're considering, if you don't have the 4, I suggest you go ahead and move on. If you're ready to get the latest watch, just go ahead and go with the 5 Pro. You'll thank yourself. You'll thank yourself. I mean, the battery life on here for me has been really good. It hasn't been great. Like, this watch has great battery, like I said before. This is good battery. Getting 3 days out of a Samsung watch for me is crazy. It just doesn't happen. So I'm happy about it, man. I highly recommend it. If any updates on the auto detect for my workout, because again, some of us work out every day. We want to stay fit or whatever. We want to stay healthy. And so for me, I need to work out at least 3 to 5 times a week. But I normally do it every day, and I want to be tracked in what I'm doing. I want to make sure my heart rate is getting up to maximum, and or at least anaerobic. I want to get something high intense, and I want the watch to be able to track that for me and make sure it's getting me all the readings that I actually need to stay healthy. So it's your man Jay. I really like this more than my Apple Watch. I like this more than several other watches I have. I definitely like it better than the Watch 4, just because of the hardware alone. I think it's really nice. But it's ultimately, you're getting kind of the same software experience, but the hardware on here, I like the bigger, thicker watch than the Watch 4. And I just like the design of this. It's really nice, man. I really like it. So I'm glad I went on ahead and got it. But update on my Z Fold 4. Some of you guys have been asking about that, and I officially got my a second delayed email. All my stuff was supposed to be delivered on 9/8. My Fold and everything I ordered was supposed to be delivered on 9/8, and it now took away that date. I got an email last week saying we're sorry, we're delayed, and it still said 9/8, so I was okay with that. But this morning on 9/7, I got an email saying, hey, your items are not going to arrive on 9/8, and we don't know when they're coming. So stay tuned. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm going to get my Z Fold 4, and I'm going to bang out those videos for you from my perspective on it. It doesn't matter when I get a device. I'm going to still keep that review on point and give you all the coverage that you want. So it's your man Jay. The smartwatch to get for Samsung right now is this watch, in my personal opinion and humble opinion. The Watch 5 Pro is a great device. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care.